My first favorite Avenger is Iron Man, then it's Captain America after Winter Soldier. Now it's... Alright guys, so Avengers v Ultron comes out this weekend. I'm just kidding, just teasing. Even though if it really was that, it should probably be the other way around, I think, right? So Avengers, Age of Ultron, what's it about? Well, it's Avengers versus Ultron. That's it. That's what it's about. But let's get a little bit more specific. What, who is Ultron? What's his deal? What's his problem? Why is he trying to mess with all of the Avengers? We like them. So Ultron is this peacekeeping artificial intelligence that's created and tasked by Tony Stark to protect the world in lieu of the Avengers. When he becomes live, he has connections through the internet, through everything pretty much electronic, and he can sees what us humans have done to the world through the war that we've started, to the pollution, everything that that we've done to this planet. He's seen, and he concludes that actually the best thing for the planet is for you suckers to go, i.e. us. So he goes on a mission to render us extinct. So this requires a kind of broken and clashing Avengers team to come back together to stop this sucker, man. So was I excited to see this movie? I mean, yeah, I was pretty excited. Yeah, whatever. But I try to go in with managed expectations, and you can only be so successful with a movie like this. So did I like it? Yeah, I really did. But was it better than the first Avengers? Now that's a question. In order to figure that out, let's get into the good stuff. So first of all, since actually my first point has to do with the Avengers, the first movie, I got to touch on that a little bit and say that I love that movie. That movie was one of the best. It's always, and I'm sure everybody else has got this problem. It's always between Avengers and The Dark Knight. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. Which makes me happy to report that everything that you liked about the Avengers really, the feel of it, it's all in Avengers Age of Ultron. Yes, they're different movies, but that essence of what the first movie set up is there in the second movie, including and especially the interaction between the characters. I mean, that's, frankly, for me, that's my favorite part of the Avengers movie. Whether they're just like yakking and joking around, or if they're beating each other up and giving each other a hard time. I mean, either way, that's the most fun part is just watching them talk and interact with each other. My only complaint about that is like sometimes this does have a more serious tone to it. Not that being more serious or dark is a bad thing. In fact, I really like that. It's just I like those scenes from the Avengers, and when you inject that that seriousness into it, it just the fun element of it is kind of taken away. Also, we gotta talk about Ultron. All right, first of all, Spader, man, that guy, hell of a voice, and he's funny. I mean, I already knew that, but he's great as Ultron. He's got this. He can go back and forth with Tony Stark, and in fact, they're just like, oh yeah, dude, Stark, man, you gotta work on your game, dude. Ultron's here, I almost swore. Trying not to throw out the F-bombs. God forgive me. My nephews might be watching this, so I kind of got to go with the second tier cuss words. Ultron also is like a legitimate threat. That guy is not messing around at all. And I really like that he actually takes great strategic action. He really makes the most of his resources. He makes it, like I looked at it and I was like, that's shit, that's what I would do. That's perfect in my book. So as much as I love Loki, Ultron is the one to watch out for, so far at least. Thanos. While I love pretty much everything that they did with the characters in this movie, there's one guy that reigns supreme in my book. Pew! It's not the noise it makes. Hawkeye, dude! Hawkeye's freaking awesome in this. From what I've felt and from what I've seen and talked to others about, everybody feels that Hawkeye was really underdeveloped in the Avengers. Not in this one. He is the shit in this movie, and he is my new favorite Avengers. Good job. Good job, Jeremy. Proud of you, friend. Jeremy Renner just kills it as Hawkeye. Seriously, though, he's awesome. He gets screen time. He's got like his own kind of subplot that's really just his own. He's funny. He's a badass. He knows his limitations, and he admits them. He's like, I'm out here shooting bows at freaking robots. What am I doing out here? It's all crazy. But I love that. I love that. It's like the writers and Joss Whedon knew, like, oh yeah, we know he's limited, and he knows it too, and he's gonna say it, and you're gonna be like, I appreciate him saying that. And frankly, now that he's even admitted his limitations and he still chooses to come out here and fight this impossible force, what a badass. Everyone else who would be stuck in that situation with a bow and arrow would just leave. And he has an option to, and he doesn't. This movie did what Captain America Winter Soldier did for Captain America, for Hawkeye. For me. Somewhere in there that makes sense. And look, I don't even want to like talk about this a very long time. Just understand that this should, I'm putting this at probably the highest pedestal, the highest compliment that I can give to this movie are the action sequences. It's in a way that only Joss Whedon could really do this. He proved this in the Avengers, how he can seamlessly go from Avenger to Avenger and set it up in a really interesting way where they all get a fair amount of fighting time, and when it transitioned from character to character, it's done seamlessly and it's so well done, and the action is epic. It's epic. Hulkbuster, first Hulk. Woo! God, the Hulk is such a badass. Now that leads me to the negatives. Okay, first off, that just was a BS accent that I just decided to say. And let's talk about the accents in this movie. Oh, that's bad. If you've seen the trailers, you probably know I'm talking about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Woo! Those are bad accents, man. Not the best accents. Not the best accents. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I really don't care that much. Whatever. They didn't get the accents right. Whatever. But I will say, Quicksilver, his accent's especially bad. So that's just got to be noted. And overall, the one thing that I noticed, there's two things that I noticed. First, I feel like it was very convoluted at times. There's a lot of times where I was just asking, like, what? Wait, what's going on? And it moves at a pretty quick pace, so you're if you miss a scene, you're kind of left wondering what exactly is going on. I mean, you can kind of figure it out. You get the general gist of it, but if you want to understand like everything that's going on, I found myself playing catch up several times. Leading into that, the second thing I noticed is that a lot of the film, especially the first and third acts, it just felt very rushed. It felt like we were going from the next scene to the next scene to the next scene. And yes, they do link the scenes, but it's very fast, and a lot of it is through just narrative, just exposition, just dialogue. And you're just kind of being like, all right, I'm going to take Tony's, word for it. That Ultron can't do such and such, and that's his weakness because of this, this, and that. And I got nothing to back it up, but that's what Stark says, so I guess we're good. That happens a lot. Where did Thor go? I'm not going to get into spoilers. I promise I'm not getting into spoilers, but there's a point in time where Thor just kind of picks up and leaves and goes on a little Thor adventure. And what? What? At the end of the day, here's the deal. I like the Avengers. I liked it a good amount more than Avengers Age of Ultron. But here's the thing. In my opinion, this is just what I think. I think that Joss Whedon did a great job with this. However, I don't think that he was really the best director for this particular Avengers movie. I think that Joss Whedon was the perfect choice for the Avengers because he's such a character-driven filmmaker. He cares about his characters. He makes intriguing, fascinating, interesting, likable characters. Even the bad guys, Loki, is so likable. Like, it's his forte. It's what he's a master at. And that was what was needed for the Avengers. The Avengers Age of Ultron really lends itself more toward the story, less so toward the character development, in my opinion. And that's why I feel like this wasn't as good as the Avengers, because although Joss Whedon is a fantastic filmmaker, the fact of the matter is, some directors are better for certain kinds of films. I think he was better for the Avengers. I don't think he was as good of a fit for Avengers Age of Ultron. Because really, the characters have been developed beautifully by Joss Whedon in the Avengers. Now we got to further the story along, and I feel like the Russo brothers have proved that they can do that, and they can do that well. Proved that in Winter Soldier. So I can't wait to see what they do now that they are taking the helm in Civil War. I'm thrilled that they're taking over, and I can't wait to see what they do. And seriously, if Joss Whedon was doing Civil War, I'd be totally fine with it. I just think that the Russo brothers are a better fit for that particular movie. That being said, this movie is a 4 out of 5 for me, which means on my newly implemented grading scale that I'm thrilled I saw this in the theaters, and I can't wait to buy or rent this on iTunes or Amazon Prime when it comes out. So the only movie fan that I really can't recommend this movie to is the fan that didn't like the Avengers. And when I said the fan, I meant it like the one person that didn't like the Avengers, that, you know, guy or girl, whoever, if you're watching, don't go see the Avengers. Everyone else go see it this weekend. That's what I think about the movie, guys. Take it or leave it. But what do you guys think? Because that's more interesting to me anyway. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Let's do it. And let me know, are you going to see Ultron this weekend? And who's your favorite Avenger? Again, mine just flip-flopped. Mine was like Captain America after I saw Winter Soldier. Now it's Hawkeye. I don't know what to do. And now there's new Avengers introduced in the movie. I keep flip-flopping. It's terrible. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you like this, you know, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, whatever you like. And let's do this again soon, all right? I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later. Hey, man, get off my case. Oh, man. Chicks don't want to hear that shit.